All right, let's go ahead and call the meeting, Berry County Board of Education to order. Members, you've got a copy of the agenda for this evening. Are there any changes? All right, hearing none, then I need a motion, we approve the agenda as presented. Motion by Aaron, second by Dwayne, I believe you beat you, Conrad. All in favor? It is approved. I'm gonna ask you, would you please stand for the church and pledge the inspiration.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, thank you for the rain that we got, and we just ask that you continue to bless our students, staff, and community as we enjoy the rest of this summer, and just be with us as we make decisions about this upcoming school year. In Jesus' name, amen.
All right, next item is the consent items. You've got a copy of the minutes for July the 11th and July the 15th. Are there any changes on those? All right, here none. Next is public participation. I'm assuming we don't have any. Okay. Next is the superintendent report.
All right, first thing on the agenda is the bond presentation. That will be Monday night. We had a little preliminary presentation with them today. They went through the process and the things they're going to talk to you guys about on Monday. The sale is scheduled for Monday at 11 o'clock, and you guys will approve that sale on Monday night. There'll be 4 resolutions that he said we can do one vote on and catch them all, and we'll have those in the things for Monday. They'll be here to do that presentation, so just wanted to remind you of that. Next on the list is the preliminary tax digest. Dr. Smith and I met with Tommy Parker, Billy Childers, and Steve Johnson yesterday at their office, and they gave us the preliminary tax digest for the year. They don't have the actual, there's not anything in your packet because they didn't have the actual digest yet. There's still some numbers that could change. But the overarching thing to take from it is our current millage rate is predicted to be below the rollback rate. The digest went down a little bit. So unless the board wants to revise the millage rate for the next year, we will not have to have the 3 public meetings because there's not a tax increase to advertise. It's actually would be a decrease as it goes there. So the digest going down does mean a little less money coming in from the local side, but it wasn't, the predicted amount is not anything we can't manage and handle within the budget. So we'll get the actual numbers hopefully next week, and so that's where the timeline, I want to give you an update. If he can give us the actual digest midweek to late next week, we can get that to the paper next Friday is where our hope is, and they can get that in the paper on August 14th. If they get that in the paper on August 14th, we can have the meeting we need to have, or meetings, if you figure out, on the 22nd. We could do it that night, or anytime you guys set after that. We just have to have the 7 days of advertising.
But we just have to do the one.
We just have to do the one meeting unless we're going to take the millage rate above the rollback rate. So that's the update. I don't have the actual digest, hopefully next week. I can get it to you. Any questions about that? All right. Next up will be SPLOST and financials, Dr. Smith.
Things to go over, but I'll go as quick as I can. And so first thing we'll talk about is the SPLOST collections. I know it's hard for you all to see out there, so I'll read the numbers out, but we collected in July $594,280.96. That was a great collection. Seems to be trending around 500,000 plus each month. Compare that to July of last year, it was 507,000. July of 22 was the anomaly where it was 871,000, and July of 21 it was around 497,000. So it looks like we're right in our normal range. Based on that collection, the SPLOST could max out anywhere between December of 25 and June of 26, depending on the monthly collections. But if it keeps in the 500s plus, almost 600,000, it could be as early as December 25. Next, we'll talk about the financial statements. These are numbers as of June. Keep in mind that we'll be closing June out throughout July, August, and September. So, cash-wise, we got roughly a little bit less cash than we did this time last year. That's pretty normal. We've had a lot of construction payment applications that we paid, so we're getting reimbursed for those, or have just recently got reimbursed for those, so that's pretty normal. If we go on and we look at the next page of revenues, we collected, or we estimate what this is, and I need to explain this because I've got a few pages here to talk about, but when I show you these are the actuals plus what we estimate to be accruals. So, it looks, on this page, it looks like we're gonna collect around 74,551,000 in revenues, which is around 102%, and if you compare that to this time last year, we collected around 100%. Now, when I get on down a few pages, revenue's gonna be less, so keep in mind, revenue, I'm gonna show you the actuals revenues as we are right now. This is an estimate of actuals plus what we estimated could be accruals, okay? I know that's confusing. I'll show you why here in just a minute. Anyway, revenues are good. They came in more than what we anticipated. Expenditures came in, we've got expenditures when we estimate actuals plus the July and August payments on expenditures, we look around 78,526,000 in expenditures, which is around over 100% of our budget, and then we were around 97% of that this time last year. When we compare revenues to expenditures, it shows that we're roughly $3.9 million in a deficit, with expenditures exceeding revenues, and that's something that we talked about, that we knew about. That 3.9 is a little low compared to what it is actually right now. I don't have this in your packet, but if you look up here on the screen, I just pulled this same report just right before I came in here, and you can see where revenues right now are at 73 million and expenditures are right at 78 million. So right now, we currently have a $4.6 million deficit, okay? So when I was talking about those revenues being 74 million, that could go up to 74 million. We know expenditures are gonna be at 78 million, could go up. So right now, we're at 4.6 million. Okay?
Well, when you're saying this, I just want to be clear, that's over our budget.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Because if you look down on this screen up here, Brenda, it's showing that the fund balance at the beginning of the year was 12.9 million. Here's revenues, here's expenditures, now we're sitting around 8.3. Okay? And what I do is I take these reports to help build the other reports that I was showing you. I just wanted to show you that I pulled it just a few minutes ago, and that's what it's showing right now. So, going back to what we actually think that revenues might be, I did the green sheets for you again. So, that's where I put, we hope that we get a couple of more thousands in revenues, so projecting around maybe 73.6 in revenues. expenditures, 78.4, which makes that deficit 4.7, which is basically what it was this time last year. Okay. Going back up here to this page, because it can be a little confusing. Right now, we're showing revenues around 73,000,003. I'm hoping that our revenues will actually come in at 73.6. We're also showing expenditures at only 78,031,000, but I'm showing that our expenditures could be 78.4. Okay? So there's the difference between those two numbers. Instead of 4.6 where we're at right now, it could be potentially 4.7. If revenues come in more, we have revenues that are still coming in. If revenues come in more, then that 4.7 could be 4.3 or 4.2. Okay? Expenditures, I feel pretty comfortable about. We have a few expenditures that we may have. It's not going to be much, though. So I feel like expenditures are pretty much true. Now, because we have spent more than our original budget that you approved this time last year for FY24, I've got a FY24 budget amendment that I needed to have you guys approve on Monday night. So I'm raising revenues. The first column that you have there in green is the original budget. It's going back to what the original was. And then the blue column shows what we're going to raise it to. We're going to raise revenues from 71 million to 73, and we're going to raise expenditures from 74 million to 78. So originally, we thought that we would be around $2.7 million deficit. That was the original budget. And actually, we're around 4.7, so there's an additional $2 million of expenditures that came from ESSER over to the general. Okay? So does that make sense to everybody? So the green was what was originally approved for FY24. You're approving the blue, which is the increase in revenue and the increase in expenditures, and the yellow is what you've adopted for FY25. So if you follow the deficit there, where we thought we would have 10 million in the fund balance, where we potentially will only have 8, if we go into FY25 and everything's exactly as what's on this piece of paper, then we'll end up around 6.6.
It's not good though, is it?
Well, it's not as bad as it could be. I don't think on the positive side.
So why do you got revenues at 74.5 on the,
Very first page.
yeah,
So that is the actual revenues plus a projection that's been in those financials each month. So that projection is on top of those revenues, on the actuals.
so would you think that exists anymore? So why do you keep it in there?
Be consistent with what we've had all year. I mean, we have some more revenues coming in, but I don't think they'll be that high, no. But, on the remaining.
Okay, that leaves us six million, and then next year, how much are we supposed to be? How much are we spending over all that, over?
That's in the yellow column.
Yeah, the yellow.
Okay, I thought you said that 6,
The yellow is what we've already adopted,
Yeah.
so it'd be that
6
six.
is what we're expecting.
you're
to get in the
thinking
fund balance.
we'll have, at the end of next year, we'll have 6. I thought you said
That's the end of
that's
this
what
year.
it was, that's what we want this year. This year's 10,
8.
next year's 8.
Perfect.
This year, we hope we end around 8, and if we have the 1.5 revenues could be more this year, expenses could be less. But we're keeping a good eye on it, for sure. So that, we definitely have to do the budget amendment. You can't spend more than you have approved, so we definitely have to have the budget amendment approved for Monday night, so that I can fix that. So, any more questions on that? Just trying to make sure that we're all on the same page and we're all aware of what we're doing and what direction we're heading and why we make the decisions we make. On the local government fund, I haven't been able to update July's interest yet, so we'll definitely have an interest that just probably hit yesterday. It's not been posted yet, so hopefully we'll reach over almost 400,000 on interest when that posts.
It'll start going down next month.
Yeah,
Your interest.
yeah, the rates are gonna drop. Yeah. Okay, any more questions? Any more questions?
I don't know if this is the right time or not, but the money that the governor sent, the $2,500 for teachers, how are they doing that? Now, let me ask that. Is it going to be, do they get a choice? Because some counties have already given it to them, like it's one lump sum. But how do we get it?
That $2,500 was added to every step, so everybody got a raise based on their step. So that $2,500 was added to every step, classified and certified.
So it's a raise from every more.
Yes.
Okay, then how did some systems give them $2,500?
I don't know how to do that, cause mine was 3,000 and it's over a year period, like it was just increased on my paycheck, like it wasn't.
That's what I was told, that so they'd already got their money. And I thought,
So
So it
when
was
the
a raise.
teachers, when they start in September, their checks run, remember, from September
Yep,
to
yep.
August, so
And
in
that's when they're-
September, they'll get their raise.
And it won't be a lump sum though, you can say that it's gonna be over a
Right.
year.
$200 increase.
Yeah, yeah,
So it really, definitely hard to even see.
yeah, it's not much.
Next time you take your taxes out.
Mine wasn't much.
Well, it's different than the bonus, like the bonus
Bonus,
that came
yeah.
out. That's where it was one lump sum.
Yeah.
I've never read anywhere that it was supposed to be paid as a
I don't know if it was said, but there was a person that said that their person got the lump sum.
Because it comes through QBE each month, so it'd be hard to front that.
I don't know.
Putting it on the step was a pay raise for everybody from now on.
It wasn't a place for it.
It's a much better deal. Okay, we've got several purchase orders we need to go over, and then I'll be finished. I'm going down the list just like you have them on there. The first one is maintenance. It's coming out of construction fund. When I say construction fund, that means we pay the bill, and then we get reimbursed back out of the bond dollars, okay?
So Chris ain't wasting money yet? You're not on the list. Is that your thought?
I have nothing on the list this time.
Oh, yes, you do.
I forgot.
So this is construction fund, it's coming out of Murray County High, it's for Murray County High School, it's the additional concrete, soil testing, masonry inspections that have to be done. So $25,118.20, don't think you have much of a choice, but
I guess, my question, Chris, it said the anticipated cost was about 5,000, and then it said it was exceeded by 23,500. What
It's a great
caused
question.
that to go up that much? I mean,
We built a building in a swamp. That's what it
Yeah.
was. So what happened, the way it works is they will come out and look at your project and basically give you an estimate on what they think The inspections for your civil will be dirt testing, compaction for asphalt, concrete, the whole 9 yards. What you don't know is what you can't see underground. And we knew that, you know, there was a farm pond over there, and we knew that we were kind of gonna be in trouble, at least on the far north end. But we thought, as when we're doing the dirt work, that we would be okay the farther south we got. We were wrong. Every shovel full that we took out had to be mitigated. So basically what it boils down to is they had to spend way more time in their labor and testing for the soil on the footers. They were over there for forever. It took us longer, a lot of rock, a lot more concrete, the whole 9 yards. So what that does is it throws everything else off. The concrete, the block, you know, we spent a lot more money that we didn't know because of what we couldn't see underground. The block work, the compaction, all of that stuff is really exactly what they intended it to be. But we spent a lot more money on the footers of that building, and that's why it is what it is. Does that clarify at all?
Yeah, we used to anticipate the south section of the building to be what, or soil
Right.
to be what it was.
And we caught the geohydro, we kind of gave them a little bit of the backstory. And they, you know, they put a little bit of fluff in there, but we thought, well, once we get a little bit farther back towards the student parking, we thought, well, we'll be okay. We were not. So it cost us a lot of rock, a lot more of their labor to do those inspections, and a lot of time. Okay?
The next one is teaching and learning, it's coming out of the general fund. It is in the FY 25 budget that you've approved. It is the digital subscription for Apex, which is used at the high schools and at Pegasus.
This is main curriculum, so that's, they have that each year.
So that covers the high schools and Pegasus. Next is a general fund. It is in the FY 25 budget. This is for transportation. This is rebuilding engines and transmissions on 2 of the buses, coming out of our transportation budget.
Where we at on the AC units on the buses?
The 10 AC retrofits, they are completed. As a matter of fact, we picked that last bus up today. So we're just full on the refurbs right this moment.
So do we have any more buses that need the AC units?
The 8 refurbs will get those.
Okay.
So that was all part of that one budget line item that was $780,000 there.
The next one is from technology. It is being paid from the construction fund, so we'll get reimbursement back for this. It's the network and the cabling over for the new addition at the high school. As Chris put it, it's cheaper to do it ourselves.
This is the 96,000.
Correct. The next one is also technology. It's being paid from the general fund. It is K-12 consultants for $38,942.75. It is in the FY 25 budget. It is a consulting fee for our E-rate discount, which is $576,000. So we're paying $38,000 to get $576,000.
So consultant fees, what is that like? They come here?
No, they file all the paperwork and do all the bidding, take care of all the audits, all that kind of thing for filing all the E-rate stuff for us.
So that's not something we can do in-house?
We don't get quite the rates and all that stuff we do if we use a consultant, and in the past we have had somebody that did that. It was a full-time position that did that, and it was kind of hit or miss if we got it or not, and we really rely on most of this stuff. It well pays for itself.
The next one you will see is technology, and that's where the E-rate discount, you'll see that total E-rate to Converge Networks. It's in the FY twenty-five budget is coming from the general fund for the $101,775.75. And if you look at that, purchase order, you'll see that $576,000 discount on there. So E-rate is not cheap. So we definitely take advantage of every discount we can get on it. Next is maintenance. This is coming out of the general fund. It was added to the FY twenty-five budget. It is that one maintenance van from Chatsworth Ford.
How many
2,000.
How many dealerships bidded on that? That number seems awful high for a little old van.
Sorry, it's not a van, it's a F-250, isn't
It says transit van.
it? Is it?
Yeah, I got a van and, CTA got a truck.
Okay, that's right.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Chris.
I got a van and CTAE got the truck. The
Oh,
van, if y'all remember, was for the HVAC guy that I hired, and that allowed us to cancel the ABM contract. So that puts him in a truck.
It's a 3/4 ton F-250.
It's a 3/4 ton van, that's right.
Yeah.
3/4 ton van.
Right.
Okay. So it's a big van. Or,
Yeah, the 150s, they don't hold up. You're carrying a lot of tools, ladders, that sort of thing. A 3/4 ton van is, you can get a 1 ton if you wanted to, but there's no need in that 3/4.
Chatsworth, the lowest bid.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. That's great.
Who else bid on it?
I can't remember, you have to let me look that up, to be honest with you.
Can we get those other bids?
Yes, you can.
That number seems high, maybe it's called a stupid.
The cargo stuff.
Yeah, that was ladder racks and bins in that too.
Yeah, so it's just ready to put his equipment in.
That's right. The bins and the ladder racks, to be honest with you, is really not all that expensive, to be honest with you. But it comes set up.
All the add-ons add up, don't
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nick went down.
It has the, whatever they call ladder
Ladder rack,
rack.
right. And then bins to put tools in.
And if you'll flip the page over on the back, we've got one on the back. That is for transportation, $42,706.70. That's actually 2 bus paint and repairs, restoration basically, and ready to go. And that is in your FY twenty-five budget. It's coming out of transportation, out of the general fund. And next month, we're gonna bring you a PO for the additional 6 that are gonna be.
This is the buses that's really high.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are the quotes, the actual POs, I think they're coming in. Is that correct, Randall? These are 2 quotes we had on these. Once we
They
finally got
are.
the actual numbers. So
Yes.
it's not a PO, it's just a quote, anticipating the PO, so we can go ahead and get them paid rather than having to wait till next month.
And just so y'all know, I'm working with all those vendors and they're taking pictures of the process for you. So I asked them if they minded to do it. There's 3 different vendors. They're gonna take pictures and we're gonna do a slideshow when we bring the buses over, and those vendors I'm gonna invite them to the board meeting so that you can meet them. And you guys can actually see the process of where that bus started, through the process and out the other end, and then you get to go out and touch and feel it. So it'll be a great thing for y'all to see what's happening. But the ones that we got really close to finishing, you can park them next to our brand new ones and you cannot tell the difference. And it's about half the price of the new bus, so I think we're doing a great job over there with that, so they look great.
Anybody got any questions?
The decorative fencing for the football stadium right here, I keep driving by there every day, expect to see it going up, because we're getting close to games.
I tell you what he told me 2 hours ago. Hang on just 1 second.
Here's current.
Install date 8/23.
So do they have a home, they say they play tomorrow, which they don't have tomorrow, but
first home game, I think, is away, first regular season, I think, don't hold me to this, please. And then, so roughly the third Friday, whatever that will be, I think is our first regular season home game. I'm not sure what that date would be, but we probably may not make it by the first home game, but we should by the second.
I see the grass is coming up where it's been sown, but there's also a bare spot there in the front. Is that gonna be sown or sod or?
Yes, that will actually have,
When those
it's gonna be professionally, done, by a contractor.
grass or
Yeah, sod.
sod, okay.
Yep.
Will that be the guy that we, approved the job for, that's gonna take care of the football fields and stuff? Will he do that?
No, it's actually a contractor that does some work for us, is gonna donate it.
Oh, donation good.
So that's gonna be done before the first game.
I can't, don't hold me to that.
August 16th.
I can't, don't hold me to that, but I hope so.
And the other thing is, I was hoping the pavement would be, but that's not gonna happen probably even during football season this year.
No.
Because
That'll be a separate conversation I'll have to have with y'all shortly. But that would be, you know, hopefully we can get the county to do that like they've done in the past, you know, hopefully. But that would probably be a summer job. Again, we would have to work around kind of the county schedule. They did, you know, around the track and all that, but we can go different routes. We can contract it out in whatever fashion. The county doesn't have to do it, but it's certainly cheaper to do it that way. But once, you know, once the parking lot is paved, it's gonna be a nice facility out there.
it's gonna make all the difference in the
All
world
the
as far as the looks of the whole place when it's repaved, everything's paved.
Yes, and it needs it terribly bad.
If the fencing's not gonna be ready for that first game, are we gonna have to put up anything in between there?
We will.
Yeah.
We'll have to put up some kind of fence to block that off, just where people can't walk through, where they have to go through the ticket booth area. But if it's for a game, we can manage. We'll get something put up there to make it work.
They're home on the 16th and the 23rd, and actually the 30th too, so they got 3 in a row.
3 in a row. Well,
Started on the 16th.
that shoots my theory out of the water. That's really what the biggest thing that we're waiting on right now is for them to finish up that decorative fencing and get it installed. Other than that, it's pretty gorgeous building for what it is. It's turned out well.
Thank you. Next up, we got Dorisha's gonna give us an update on our Villa Parent Group.
Can I go back to student achievement right quick?
Yes, ma'am.
I know we don't have any, when are we gonna have, we have never gotten our ready scores from mid-year to end of year. That has never been given to us, so like, we don't even know, we got them from the beginning of the year, but we were never presented the mid-year, end of year. I know milestone scores can't be given out or whatever, it's just,
We'll talk about those tonight a little bit.
but
Board
we
session.
just have never been told anything about our rating.
I was thinking Kelly presented that in May. I can check with her and see. I can get this to you.
Not the end, yeah, I don't remember any scores. I know she presented something, now that you said that, but I don't think it was our rating scores.
Because we wouldn't have had milestone.
Yeah, we would have milestone, maybe, but I don't think.
She presented something, but I'll double check with her.
Maybe she did, and we're waiting, is there some lady, we usually have some lady that comes on,
Oh, Debbie,
Debbie.
so
yes.
maybe that's what we're waiting on, to get some more information from her, from the whole, to see the whole picture.
Yes.
Because
That
we
may be
didn't
what-
know,
I do know she said she would follow up, but I don't.
yeah, okay, if we can just check on
We'll
that,
check
yeah,
it.
that's good.
All right, so Marissa's gonna give us an update on our Villa Parent Group. I'll let you know how that's going.
So we put our application out, we left it out for about a month, we ended up getting 8, well, we got over 25, but by the time I sent the information back and some people changed their minds, and so our solid number is 18, and that's a great number for our first time and good participation,
Can you,
hopefully.
before you go, can you tell us exactly what that is, because I forgot.
Sure, so the Villa Group is a new thing that we're starting, and it means volunteer, instructional Learning Leadership Academy. So they'll come up here, and what they're gonna do is they're gonna learn all about our school system. So my hope is, there's a lot of districts around us that do this. It helps build community advocacy because it teaches your community how your school system operates. Because we all know that sometimes they struggle with understanding our processes, right? And how things work. And so the hope is that we can bring them in, we can teach them, and we can send them back out to help advocate. And when things come up, you know, it's hard for one of us to get in Facebook comments and say things a lot of times. But if we build some advocates that can go out and help us spread the message and clear things up, and that's really what this whole group is all about. And they'll go through these courses, and they'll have a graduation, and we'll tell you what they are. And then after that, they'll serve for the next year as an advisory committee for our superintendent and our district leadership team. So if we have things as maybe something comes up, you know, we're discussing with the principals about a change, we can take it to that group and say, here's what we're thinking about doing as parents, how do you feel like this affects you? Or what challenges do you see? We've never had that before, so we want to try to, you know, that's part of our strategic plan is to grow that two-way communication. So we have 18 that was our final number. I've got them in a little email group. I stay in touch with them. I'm gonna, you know, I keep them informed when the board meetings are and things like that. But they'll start coming up here. September 19th, where we offer 2 different meeting times, because I've talked with all of them and try to offer meeting times that'll work for people that have full-time jobs, because I didn't want to limit, you know, only people that were off during the day. So we have a Thursday and Friday class for September, October, November, January, February. They'll start September 19th, and the first course is called Lay of the Land. They'll come up here, we'll teach them all about the basic layout of the school system, from the board to the superintendent, how the central office is set up and down, but kind of the flow of everything. Then they'll come back in October, we'll do an overview of our local school districts, so we'll just give them all the information, all the different areas that we can share. Then we'll go through November education operations, January will be finance operations, and then February we'll take them on a field trip all around the county, get them into schools, show them all the good stuff we've got going on, our pantries, our robotics classes, so much good stuff to see. And then we'll finish up at North Murray, and they'll have a little graduation up there. And from there, we'll figure out in between now and February if we want to call them in only on a needed basis, or if we'll meet with them just every so often with an update. We'll since they're the first class, I'll get some feedback from them on how they think it'll go. But we had a great turnout. They all seemed really excited. The application made it a little bit more than just, would you like to be involved? They had to write a 250-word reasoning on why, and I got some really great responses. We got a great mix from elementary to high school and split across both counties. I have some that are grandparents that are raising kids. I have stay-at-home moms, I have working moms, so that's why we did the multiple classes. They helped me choose what times to have the classes. And then we also offered them a virtual, if for some reason they can't attend, I'll, you know, let them Google me in and still hear what's happening. So I'm really excited about it. I think it'll be a good start. Hoping it goes well, but just wanted to update y'all because we set it up. Kim and I talked about where the one class will always be the evening before the board meetings, and we've encouraged them to come out and attend the board meetings and see what it's all about and all that good stuff. So I wanted to kind of update y'all before September, because you might see some of them in here. So always good to know if visitors are coming.
Question, Chris.
Yeah.
You're doing the teaching of that class?
It's split up, so I'll do some of it, but I'll of course pull in the experts in their fields. So I've already got Kathy on the schedule for finance. Of course, Tim will be there for a lot of them, but I'll let him and his team kind of lead the education operation part. And then I already do field trips for the community. I take Leadership Murray through every year, and different water sponsors that there's programs they sponsor they want to see. I take people to tour the schools anyway, so Tim will of course go with us, but I'll take care of that. And the lay of the land and overview of our local school district, Tim will be involved in all of that, but I'll handle that lay of the land and all that
Are
stuff.
we able to attend any of those?
You're welcome to come anytime.
We'll get a list of those dates
I'll
and
send you a
then
schedule, yes, sir.
we'll be ready.
And I say curriculum we have, it's kind of set up by, the Georgia.
Yeah, it's all
School
ran
board.
through the Georgia School Board Association. It's something that some of the districts came to them about, I think it's been about 4 years ago now, and said, we struggle with this, can y'all help us? So they kind of built out the basic curriculum, and they did the first pilot in Cherokee County, and Cherokee still has it going on now. They kind of do it the same way. So the courses are kind of set based off of their curriculum, and then you just kind of adjust based off your district.
Meets a big part of the, part 4 of our strategic plan communication, so appreciate all the help of that, 'cause it's been a task.
Yeah.
Getting some folks ramped up for that.
Yeah, but it'll be, I think it'll be great, and I'll keep y'all updated, and I'll get you the schedule. You're always welcome to it. Thank you.
Next up is Mike.
This will be the third and final reading of the policy that deals with bullying. Our existing policy had to be changed because of some legislative changes that basically dealt with the definition of what is bullying and where it occurs. So that's what, this will be the final reading.
Any questions?
Might just make sure we took that out about, what was it, 7 o'clock drop off time?
In the handbook.
We left it the way it was.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
I'm good.
Yeah. And then on Monday, we'll present y'all with the list of tribunal panel members. Y'all have to approve those who can sit on the panel for disciplinary tribunals. So you'll be approving that on Monday. And then down the road, we might be having to make some changes to our policy that deals with sexual harassment under Title IX. There have been some changes to the regulations that have been blocked by courts at this point for being implemented, that basically broaden the definition of what sexual harassment includes, bringing in transgenders and sexual stereotypes and all these other things, and allowing use of restrooms, locker rooms, and that sort of thing. But the courts have blocked that at this point.
Was that up today?
Well, it was blocked by the 11th Circuit for Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, and Alabama. So we'll see how that goes. It's probably going to depend a lot on what happens with the election. The Trump administration had issued some regulations that were more restrictive on what the definition of harassment is and who's included. And then the Biden administration overturned that and issued new regulations that were to go into effect today, actually. So we'll just see where that goes. It's sort of very fluid at this point, changes minute by minute.
So right now, we're good, we don't need to change.
Right now, we're not changing anything.
Okay.
Can it be, this policy, third reading, can it be voted on Monday night, or do we need to do it now? Does it really matter?
It doesn't really matter, whatever you prefer.
Okay.
This is long as it's in effect right since we started school.
You have to get it in the handbook, though, right? You have to check the
No,
revisions.
no.
It's all on the handbook's on now.
The handbook has a definition of bullying that refers back to our code policy, our board policy. So
Okay.
if we change the board policy, it changes the
Okay.
definition in the handbook.
All right, I need a motion, we go into executive session.
So,
Motion by Renda,
Second.
second